FullTiltPoker.net presents Learn from the Pros.
Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Rose. The Professor Howard Letter still hanging out. And look, I brought four of my really good friends that I play with every Friday night. Like Jennifer Harmon, still good enough to hang out with us. How you doing?
I'm good. And how do you do in those games?
Yeah, about this well. These are my starting and ending chips, usually right in front of me. Phil Ivey's won 5 bracelets. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you again.
Good.
Chris Ferguson won it all in 2000. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Glad to be here once again.
Thank you. And Lane Fleck, 5 bracelets to his name. What's going on?
Great. Nothing. Just
You're happy
enjoying
to be
it.
here.
Absolutely.
That's the key. Guys, we know that what has happened with poker in the world of TV. I'm curious, how has the internet changed poker? Phil?
The internet has definitely sped up the learning curve, because now players that didn't have the opportunity to go to a casino that live, you could live anywhere. You don't have to have a casino, within an hour or two from where you are. You play poker, you get to play 20 times as many hands as you normally would get to play, so you get to see a lot more situations and you get to see a lot more hands. And I think the internet have produced some very talented poker players now.
It appears to me what took me 4 years to learn took some people 4 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look at the last 2 winners of the World Series, and both of them qualified to play in the World Series main event by winning their seats online. I think maybe 5 years ago, people used to scoff at internet players, like, oh, he's just an internet player. He's not really that good. But I think people have learned that, no, internet players really are that good. And one of the reasons is you can play so many more hands per hour on the internet than you can in a casino. I mean, heads up, you can play 300 hands an hour on one table. And another thing, a lot of people can play multiple tables on the internet. You can play 2 tables at once, and you can never do that in the casino. So people are learning that much faster.
Not only that, you can sit there and watch all the good players play hand after hand after hand after hand when they're playing online and just pick up everything that they do.
That's why I always recommend to a new player, and they say, how do I learn how to play poker? I always tell them, go to the internet.
Definitely a comfortability about it. Learn first on the internet and get your feet wet, then you can take the next step and go into a casino.
And another great thing about the internet is that all of us play there. So you can learn from me, you can learn from Jennifer, you can learn from Lane Flack, Howard, Chris. There's 20 or so pros that play on the internet every day, and you can learn from them. You can ask them. You could talk to us. You could you have any question about poker, we're always there to answer it.
But does it bother you guys that you can't see your opponents? What's going on? I mean, tells everything that we're doing here at the table.
It is part of my game.
Yeah, I think it's a different form of the game. You have to totally focus in on betting patterns, and that is one of the undervalued, undermentioned concepts in reading people. I mean, you can talk about, oh, you stare them down and all this stuff, but unless you have a sense of the betting pattern that led to the situation, and then you take the read and put them on a hand, you aren't going to be able to just put someone on a hand just by looking at them unless you understand how to understand the betting patterns. And the internet forces you.
Internet tells.
I think the oldest read,
the
oldest read in the world is just looking at somebody in the eye, and that don't even hold true whatsoever. I can't look at
betting
somebody and know if
patterns
they're
always
betting
tell
or
a
bluffing.
story. They always tell a story. If you can, like, from the start to the end, if you can go through the whole thing in the betting, you'll basically know what to do in the end. The story will be finished.
Looser or tighter players on the internet, Phil?
Looser.
Well, and more
Looser,
fearless.
especially live.
That's still how he plays.
Especially live, because for me, like, if I'm playing a bunch of hands on the internet, when I go to the poker room, it makes you a lot more impatient, I think, because, you're seeing 3, 4, 5 times as many hands in an hour on the internet than you get dealt to you.
Also, it's a lot easier to bluff on the internet. All you got to do is push this one button and make a giant bluff. Man, when you're facing against the guy, you got to push those chips.
I also think a fundamental change in the game that the internet has certainly helped accelerate is the free flow of information. I mean, at FullTiltPoker.net, we have so much information between the professionals that have gone through the trouble of becoming, very good professional players. That information is flowing to other players, in a very free-flowing way. When I got started 23 years ago, there was like, that's right. I know it's scary. Wow. But there.
How old are you?
There were 1 or 2 poker books out there. That was it, and there certainly wasn't an internet. I was playing in my home game where I was getting started. And just that first book I read, which was basically a book of tall tales by Amarillo Slim, just the idea that there were like great players in Las Vegas. That was news to me. Just the idea that you could get to become a really good professional player. I didn't even know they existed. Now everyone knows they're professional players. Everyone knows there are books. There's the internet. There's so many ways for you to get better so quickly.
It's the only sport I know where we teach them how to beat us, right on TV, right on the internet. Everywhere we go, I'm teaching them how to beat me.
And that's why I've got to get a screen name, and I promise I'll play against Phil Ivey sometime on fulltiltpoker.net if I'm that ridiculous.
To learn, chat, and play with the pros, go where they live. fulltiltpoker.com.